Hello, everybody out there, and welcome back. I hope you had a chance to watch the other videos for this character. It's my Mars Attacks. And what I'm going to go over more play by play is the starting of the base for this character. Right now, I'm still kind of posing his head. I guess it looked too computer generated. And you can see here, I'm just trying to turn the head. Just give a little offset, little variation, because nothing is perfect. Even though he's a little stiff as a character, when I look at him, I still want him to have a little bit of organic movement to him. And you can see here, I'm trying to adjust the helmet just to fit the brain. Going from modeling everything, the brain started to stick out in the last video and the videos before, so I figured I'd fix that. And I guess I didn't fully fix it, so that's what you see here. The base mesh that I'm going to do on this model is more or less just kind of a lot of rubble, some of those concrete blocks that you'll see. I try to put a beam to the side of him, just kind of give a little decoration to where he's standing. Later on in the videos, I actually do a skull, just to kind of have it in the bottom there. I wanted to add more bones, but then between here and there, it had enough detail at the end to where I felt like it was like went ahead and called the piece done. But right here, you can see I'm using the deformation tools. Come in handy. I'm just trying to push and pull a little bit. And gonna mirror that. Yeah. Symmetry. Trying to do it on the symmetry. But as you can see, the character's pretty much posed where he's gonna be till the end of the model. Do a quick render. See if his face is looking towards us a little bit. Kind of give him a little look to the side is what he's doing, depending on where you're looking at him. But you can see that I put all the color and the texture that I want to put into him. Using the, what do you call it, the Z color. That came in handy. If you get a chance, go back in those videos that I had previously made, and I show how I use it on this character, and it came in handy. It wasn't so much me trying to look at an image and reference an image and color sample that. I had the swatches already made and just jump back and forth, so I had the exact color I wanted. See, I'm still trying to pose here and there. Fingers kind of wonky, trying to fix it, push and pull, you know, the fun part of it. Let's see if I start the base so I can start kind of talk through that, what I'm going for. Had to imagine him standing on a rock, so that's why he's kind of has his foot propped up for some kind of roll. Try to keep things organized. If you see right there on the side, some folders that I'm happy to use. I like anything that a little bit more organized than a chaotic mess. This is the start of the base for the character. I really didn't know what direction I wanted to go when I first started it, but then it just started kind of visualizing, and that little stencil on the side kind of helps too, to kind of give you a visual of what you're gonna see. On the top left corner, the black and white. So this is the start of the little parts and the beams and the concrete blocks. Using a little Z modeler to block out some of the forms and shapes that I wanted to put in there. Looked like I had a little trouble of it not responding, getting rid of some geometry, but it's all good. I guess you just find different ways of doing something. pushing and pulling, doing some poly modeling here. And this will be the start of my beam on the side of him. And you can tell it's just real basic primitives. Pretty much how this whole model's been going. Just basic primitives and modeling spheres. And now I'm going to get a little more blockiness in there. I felt like everything was so, rounded off with Alien that I needed something a little bit more harder. And you can tell that I really don't know where I want to put this. I'm just kind of like playing with the composition and seeing what works and what doesn't work. Trying to figure out if that's what I want in the end. But I think eventually I just kind of move on to the next pieces and start getting things in place. It's kind of the fun part if you think about it. Even though even though I finished the character, it's still kind of another chapter of creating to the character, giving him a space and giving him a world to where he looks like he's integrated in. And so this piece right here was going to be part of a wall that kind of looked like it was destructive or taken apart and damaged. Here's a little footrest or the foot pieces that I wanted to. And thinking back now, I probably should have did it the other way and built the base and had it posed to him. But I guess, as you go along, you don't really think sometimes whenever you're doing some stuff, and then you're like, could have done it this way. But for what it's worth, I was happy with the model in the end, so it didn't really matter. As long as you're having fun. I love this that poly frame. Yeah, he looked wicked. You can see the red skull and red face. So this is going to be more of a stone, and I kind of just destruct it and add a little detail. Start slicing and trimming and giving a little more edging to it. In the end, you really can't tell what is what. I just wanted it to look like a rubble of concrete and some destruction. Kind of give him a home to where he's making damage. So you can see I'm trying to kind of block him in to his little pedestal and where he's going to be standing. You can see I'm kind of adding destruction in there and taking away. See what tool I'm using. The clay buildup and just kind of roughing stuff in. I want shapes and get that feeling. I wanted the beam to look like it was cracking into the concrete, and that's something I kept working at over time with this model. Eventually I turned that beam a little bit higher up, because sticking out that way, I just figured if I did print it, it's gonna be at an awkward angle. So trim dynamic and the clay buildup is what I'm currently using as brushes. Trim dynamic does really well for me, or I like using it for rocks. Gives you a good result real fast. Kind of trying to get the smoothing. You don't want it too hard edged. Anytime you see hard edges in any CG, it just looks fake and doesn't work for me sometimes. So where he's standing, I wanted to give it even more. Later on, I do like nano mesh and put like little stones and everything in there. Right now, it's kind of rough. You're gonna see that I just want to kind of get the feeling there, if that makes sense. Sometimes we want to see the end result, but you can't get there without just putting in the work. But try to halfway get there. Noisemaker. It's always fun to play with. I don't know. You can spend hours and hours just trying to come up with different ideas with the Noisemaker and different results, and just you get lost just in that little window. I love it, but then sometimes I try to stay away from it because it can be a time suck, and then in the end you probably get to just modeled something a little bit closer to what you needed. But it's so fun. It's so fun to use. It's so easy to use. And these little default ones too. They're can't be ignored. They're good to just toss on some stuff and then adjust as you go. Even there, it's just a little bit of destruction and decay gets you results pretty quick. I rarely use the blob brush, but I guess for whatever reason, I was like, hey, let's use the blob brush. I didn't want anything too. I wanted concrete, but I wanted it to kind of be destructed, just chaotic. So yeah, blob brush. If you scale it up big enough and then kind of push and pull, it does its own thing and it looks pretty cool. Kind of filling in a little bit of dirt and stuff that I kind of planned for. You'll see I'll keep playing with the color until I put textures onto everything. Even there, I kind of wanted it something to see instantly, but I think in the end, what I ended up doing was just sculpting in a lot of that detail and texturing it, back in. That little bit of extra time kind of goes a long way. Even though at first it seems like, man, it's a little bit of work, but then it's after a while you get lost in it and it gets fun, and you don't even think about the work after a while. You just get lost in modeling. Some more of the clip curve. You gotta love that. It's like digital. Oh, it's pretty much what it is. Digital putty, and then you don't run out. You just it's always there. So kind of giving the rock surfaces a little more chiseled look and flatten on one side and beaten up on the other. I usually stick to the defaults as far as the brushes. I don't. Every now and then I'll change the parameters, but I don't get too crazy unless I plan on saving that brush, because if I go back and I need to use it on another part, or use it again the next day and forget what I did, it kind of makes it a little challenging. So I kind of stick to what what's already there. You can see that it's kind of coming around with the base, and this is pretty much the direction I continue to go. I just start adding more detail and more rubble and more. It's kind of like a cake. You just kind of layer it up. And right now I just got the base. There's a reference on the bottom left you can see. Started pulling up references to see what I can do and get a little more chaotic look to it. Somewhere in a city, that way you can get the idea. Or you don't have to be a city. I guess it could be a town. I don't see a city using those those blocks, but who knows? But most of this is just pretty much the what you see here is just rinse and refine the details. It looks like I'm going to add that concrete block right here, looking at the reference, trying to follow that, keeping it even. Yeah, just eyeballing it. You get a feel for what you want, you know, you just go from there and make each piece. Mirror. And you can see the shape of the block kind of through these cuts that I'm making. Because really I'm just trying to make it even, and then after that I'm going to make it destructive and start chiseling away at it. And you can see the little ends and just like pop them up. Boom. Start trying to get the parameter right. Just wanted to extrude up. I guess I changed something in there. It's always those little things, right? Thicken it up. Just trying to thicken it on each side, make it a little more fat looking, like the picture. References are always helpful. They're always going to help you in the end. There it is. It's most of it. Jump back into the model so I can drop it in, and I'll append it. And it's probably tiny. Let's see. And then I scale it up, make it about the size of, you know, what you would think, and then place it. And I do a few of these. I just wanted to kind of give a little randomness, and but you can see this is pretty much the most of the workflow, and it is sped up. A lot of it was just kind of planning and thinking about what I wanted. Too much softness. Putting some cuts. And eventually I start using the trim, slice, and cut to take pieces away. I don't remember if I boolean pieces out, but that's a big possibility. And I even go back to the surface noise. I wanted it a little bit of texture to it, just so I know where I'm going. I probably apply textures to this model a couple of times just to kind of vary it up and add a little more depth to it. This is just like the first layer. Get something I'm happy with. I'm like, okay. Because at least in these parameters, I kind of know that I used a default material that I can kind of go back to and keep adding. Just in adjusting as I go. Got a little detail going there. And then I apply it, and then I start chiseling away. I'm trying to clean it up at the same time. Trying to get a little more detail and trying to get the evenly subdivide the model so it actually has evenly textures and stuff. I use some of the layers. I go back and forth on layers. Sometimes I use them, sometimes I don't. It really depends on what I'm doing. And for this model, I did do some layering. And I think eventually I apply it because I just figure like, it's there. But when I do duplicate this model, I take off, you know, it helps because I can start fresh and do it again and chisel another model differently. As you can see, I'm just pretty much using the like a clay buildup and probably some of that trim dynamic on top of it, but a lot of it just trying to get a little more destruction, just a little cracks and wear and tear, and you can get lost in this process right here. You almost just could spend days just making something destructive. And yeah, I got lost in this little process of adding all the little cracks and details and concrete and texturing. So it's fun stuff. Adding more detail to the bottom there, as you can see. I wanted it to look like it was integrated with the scene too. And just going around, just polishing and destruction, and just going back and forth, just all around the model. But that's pretty much most of this video. A lot of it was just kind of getting the base structure set up, trying to get the alien put in place. He is posed a little bit better, but hopefully the next few videos it starts to speed up a little bit more. I do get lost in a little bit more the, you know, the destruction. I guess that's a given. I kind of keep on just playing with the different methods and different techniques, and I don't know, it's fun. It's fun to find different ways to do something, or an easier way to do something on this. But yeah, I don't know. I hope you learned something from this video. I know as I go along, sometimes I do something a little different, and it's not the typical way I would do something, but I always try to experiment as I go, just to see if another technique would work. And that's where sometimes just playing around will get you, you know, open new doors, and you'll remember it later on. And that's kind of what I did here. I kind of played around and had fun with this project or this model, and try to learn as I you know, move towards the finish line. But hopefully you like this video, and you know, keep watching. I'm gonna probably post another video pretty soon, as soon as I get some extra time. And yeah, thank you for watching.